What up, y'all? It's KP, the sports chick. So let's talk a little bit about Golden State because I did recording a little bit earlier in the season. I know it's still early in the season, but I did. And I talked about the importance or lack thereof of the Cat, excuse me, not the Cavs, Golden State, especially them, as far as their record, whether it matters as much this year, seeing as how they won so much last year and still, didn't win the championship, but did the year before, with still a decent record, not the best record, but still a decent record. So it's like, which one would you take? Obviously, you take the championship over the great season. Okay, great. So now that we've said that, I'm seeing stories today on like ESPN, Bleacher Report about how the Warriors are second in power rankings under the Cavaliers. Cavaliers are 13-2, the Warriors are 15-2, so both have lost 2 games. And the Warriors are actually on an 11-game winning streak. But the thing is that the Cavaliers are actually, I feel like their energy and how they're playing is very reminiscent or similar to how the Warriors played last year after they won their championship, on a high, ready to chase the championship, all that fun stuff, right? So it just brings around the same wonder that I have about records, regular season records. Does it really even matter? Because, and I say that relatively because it does matter in the aspect that, obviously records matter to get you to a certain seeding, to get you to a certain playoff position. You play the regular season for the playoffs. I always say that. You know, how you perform the regular season record-wise, record-wise, gets you to where you end up in the playoffs as far as where you start. We all know this. So that, to me, as far as records, breaking records, how many points you average a game, that's important in theory because, whoever wins the most points wins. But I'm not about to make a big deal out of it. If it's in the stat sheet, then that's great. But I don't want, it's like if I'm on the Warriors, I feel like that it would be reminding me of the fact, every time you talk about a stat that has nothing to do with any real importance, like regular season win records, it's not important. In the grand scheme of things, it's a nice little bonus to add to your little resume, but it's not like, it's going to be indicative of if you win a championship or not. No. So anytime I would, if I'm Golden State and I was a part of that champion team and the last team that's, last year that didn't win the championship, I would see stories like that about, averaging the most points, being second in the league as far as power rankings, only to the Cavaliers. I'd be like, I don't want to hear that. I just want to win. My focus is on winning so I can have a good seed in the playoffs so that we can, because once the playoffs start, all the other regular season stuff goes out the window. So once that happens, it's like, okay, now that we have done the work to position ourselves correctly, okay, then we worry about the playoffs and do what we have. But I don't want to see like, if I'm Warriors, I'm not worried about rankings. I'm not worried about all that. I'm worried about, let's play the regular season out, see where we get put. If we play well enough, we strive to be the best. If we play well enough, then we end up in a favorable playoff position. Right. Okay, cool. And then the other factor is, it's like they're playing better now than they were to start the season. Because I did another video where I was talking about the impact Kevin Durant has on the offense. And I, for one, was one of the people who thought that Kevin Durant would not go to Golden State. I thought if he went to any team in California, it would be the Clippers. Because I felt like the offensive situation was already good enough the way that it was. They had, and then, the defense is beast. They all play excellent defense, of course. Some stand out more than others, but as a whole, number one defense in the country, I would say. And now in Cleveland, you have people who play defense very well, like LeBron, like uh, JR and others, but as a whole, Golden State plays better defense, and the offense is playing really well right now. And I'm not taking anything away from Cleveland, because Cleveland, didn't they have the record for most threes in a quarter? Like last week, it was like that game was so fun to watch. But I digress. Point being, the Warriors are playing so much better now than they did, game one as opposed to now. So if it stays like this and gets better, they're going to seed well. And I fully expect them to either be above or below the Cavaliers when all is said and done, with the Bulls not too far behind, Spurs not too far behind, and maybe, because New York is an 800 team right now, maybe they'll be in the hunt. Not on the top, but excuse me, but right there. So what do you think? Do you think that the Cavaliers and the Warriors are going to, I guess my biggest question is, do you think that they're going to meet up again this year in the finals? Yes or no? And does the fact that the Warriors have a streak right now matter in the grand scheme of things? Like, do we need to be reporting that? Do we need to be talking about that? Like, is it a big enough deal that we need to do stories about this, or just let them play it out and see what happens? I want to hear from you. Give me your comments here at YouTube. You guys have the best comments ever, good or bad. I read them all, and I will reply to you if I see them. So let me know what you think.